Okay.
That's
Yeah,
Yeah, nice.
perfect. Thank you.
Okay, I'm an improvising one-man band live looper and streamer. For the fifth year now, I have been broadcasting my original content around the clock using Liquid Soap as a tool for non-stop streaming. And today I will share with you how my little small project works. Okay, let me start with a little background and context. On my regular streams, I jam with Looper. I play musical improvisations, sequentially recording parts layer by layer in real time. In other words, I create song on the fly, stacking musical elements on the top of each other like bricks, resulting in a rich musical collage. This technique is commonly known as live looping. The resulting performance is subsequently divided into logical components, and unnecessary elements such as any hiccups that occurred during the jam are removed. The content is then reassembled into a more compact and easier to perceive format. Now this is more decent for viewing and listening. It's not a polished studio release, of course, but it's like a demo track that can be showcased publicly. In the language of Twitch streamings, it's called a highlight of the stream from the stream. For editing, I use the Reaper digital audio workstation as it supports sufficient functionality for working with video files. Since it has a tempo-based interface, it becomes very convenient to measure, cut, and paste fragments of the desired durations, as my jams are synchronized by BPM. At first, I posted these videos on YouTube, but when I accumulated several hours of videos, I had the idea of creating a streaming radio station where these tracks will be played around the clock. This idea went through several iterations before being implemented in Liquid Soap, which turned out to be the perfect solution. Evergreen Deer told me about Liquid Soap and helped me get started. We met on Twitch, and he also has a radio stream on YouTube called Deer Radio. Having no experience in programming, the first attempts to create a stream failed miserably. The entry threshold for a noob turned out to be very difficult. I'm not a coder at all, and the Liquid Soap becomes my start, and I entered to the coding with Liquid Soap. That happens. However, patience and guides from the excellent the Liquid Soap book, as you can see, everything worked out, and now I'm here speaking to you. And Liquid Soap became my motivation to start studying and doing coding. The project consists of three main parts: Liquid Soap, which is responsible for content rotation; Nginx RTMP module that acts as a REST stream server to cover a large number of video streaming sites; and Node.js, which is a set of auxiliary scripts for automation, parsing, triggering, and so on. This is a bind for an APIs of different social media and sites. Okay, my Liquid Soap script is very simple, and for the most part use the most basic mechanics, much of which is described in the Liquid Soap book. The stream consists of only three scenes. The main one is a playlist of MP4 files, which includes a request system with reading the path from the file as the simplest and most effective method. Graphic elements are overlaid on top of the playlist source. playback queue, covers, countdown to live broadcast, playback progress, goal widgets, etc. In other words, rectangles, texts, images. To save resources, all overlays are not tied to time, like the playback queue, are combined into separate groups of elements to which an additional buffer is applied. This helps to avoid problems with catch-up situations in some cases. For example, when switching from a scene where there are no superimposed graphic elements to a scene where there are many of them. Okay, every 20 tracks, the main scene switches to an MP4 playlist with short jingles, which acts as an intermediate screen with a list of recent events. So as you can see, I just tried to, how to say it, to recreate the basic stream of every streamer on Twitch. So with widgets, all stuff, some needed information on the screen, widgets, goals, and these kind of things. So this part was pretty tricky for me. All the same overlays are displayed here, but additionally, there is a list of events that are collected via the API from the streaming platforms, follows, subscriptions, rates, donations, and whatever. Fonts, about fonts. Icons of streaming platforms and social networks are embedded in fonts. They were converted to vector SVG format and then added through the open source FontForge program as a specific character. I do not know how to do this more correctly, so I use workaround where a certain symbol has its own icon. This is not very convenient, but with a small number of fonts and platforms used, it's not very troublesome. Okay, and the last scene is the input RTMP source, which I direct stream from OBS when I go live. No additional, oh, I switched somewhere, okay. No additional overlays made in Liquidshop are applied to it anymore. The playlist switches to input RTMP via the fallback operator and back when I finish the live session. Engine X RTMP. This combined set of scenes is sent via the output URL to the Engine X RTMP module, from where it's already being relayed to more than 20 sites. Despite the fact that the RTMP model has not been maintained or updated for many years, it's still an usable tool. This is largely because FMPEG instances with a copy of the stream can be launched from there via the exec push directive. This solves the problems with connecting to some sites when it's not possible to connect using the native method and cope different a lot of things. Additionally, without Engine X involvement, an audio output is sent a separate thread from the Liquidshop to the Icecast server and from there via relay to Shoutcast, just to make it happen. Okay, Node.js, and the last element of entire system is a Node JavaScript. With the help of PM2 Processor Manager utility, the auxiliary scripts run smoothly 24/7 along with the stream. It interacts with the APIs of streaming platforms, social media, for handling requests from chats, cross-postings, collecting events, and solving code issues that I could not resolve in Liquidshop due to a lack of skills and experience. An illustrative example is changing the stream title and category where required on platforms when the playlist switches to input RTMP and back. JavaScript just happened to be the first language I came across when I was looking for examples of chatbots, so it just stuck around. And okay. And I decided to use IHD quality as a logical compromise. First of all, the main priority is the best possible broadcastability, because in many locations, the internet is still slow and very few platforms provide additional encoding for choosing a resolution. Many people watch content on their phones, and this resolution is still supported by all the platforms. In addition, it saves a significant amount of disk space and CPU sources. Sorry about my English, but I try to do my best. So you use input RTMP set to the engine XRTMP. I tried different connections. Yes, at first I used connection at first with in the Nginx RTMP model, but now I'm using straight in the Liquidshop.